4 contestants enter, but only 1 leaves a champion. That's right, it's time for the one and only Project Nerd Game Show. Live from the Project Nerd Studios in StreamYard, it's The Last Word.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Last Word. It is our first one of the new year, and I am genuinely excited to be here today. This is my studio. This is the StreamYard studio I was referring to. I'm again, 2022 is going to be an awesome year. I'd like to forget a lot about 2021, but what I don't want to forget about is my friends. So let's bring them in one at a time. First, I'd like to bring onto the stream Isaiah, aka Select Screen. How you doing there, Isaiah? Oh, and you're muted. Cool. That's great. Great. Good to know. So we're going to go ahead and bring in Shaun now. Shaun.
Greetings, citizens of Earth. I am Shaun Hadley, owner of Hop Toys. Thanks for having me, Andy. Appreciate it.
And you just got your toys listed on some fancy website. Is that right?
Yeah, big Bad Toy Store. It's like, if you're a collector, you probably know about it, but they're like one of the biggest online retailers for action figures, toys, plushies, all that stuff. And we just got all of our items listed on there. So it's been a good day.
Nice. Isaiah, you got your mic unmuted. Did you want to say something?
What's up, everybody? I'm glad I'm unmuted.
Isaiah, you had your hello chance, okay?
Let's go.
Eric,
Let's go.
Welcome to the show today. Thanks for being here.
Go Dogs.
Oh, yeah, Georgia fan. Okay, that's cool.
Ooh.
No, this is
Not
not a sports ball
fan.
show.
Alumni.
Get the sports ball out of here, Eric. All right, and our final contestant of the day, and someone we're so excited to have on for the first time that I've been hosting, is Sarah. Now, you might have seen her in other shows around Project Nerd. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
I'm one half of the G Spot. The G is for Geek, an all-female podcast where we talk about female items. And then I help out with Project Cosplay and a bunch of other stuff. And you probably see me at the conventions. I do a lot more of the live events.
Well, we are really excited that you are here today. We're also looking forward to seeing what you could do on the show. So let's get going with our round one. That is so much more dramatic than it used to be, and I absolutely love it. So before we fully close the door on 2021, I do want to say I'd like to start off by talking about Spider-Man. Now, I know we've seen a million reviews, and you guys have talked about it with all your friends or whatever, but I just want to start off our final closing item for 2021. You know, what did you guys think of the Spider-Man movie? But really, where do we go from here? And where does this lead us going into 2022 with all the series and movies coming out? You know, do we see Garfield maybe get his own Spider-Man movie to set up a Spider-Verse? Discuss. And I want to go ahead. Let's get Sarah going first here on this one. Sarah, what do you think?
Really quick, for a hot minute, when you just said that, I was like, why would a lasagna-eating cat have a Spider-Man spinoff? And I went, nope. All right. Anyway,
Yeah.
So no, really liked it. I think it's pretty obvious that they're setting it up for, we're getting more of the classic Peter Parker story, because now he's got he's by himself. He's probably, what a great time to become a freelance photographer, things like that. I'm really thinking that I have this sense that they're going to go classic, but a classic that we're not used to. The cool thing about this first round of the Spider-Man was that we didn't bother with the origin story. We didn't bother with this. Like, we just went right into like the dynamics of like him being a high school person, really focused on him being in high school, which is what all those early comics were about. And then we keep reinventing all this new Spider-Man stuff. And I'm really excited now because a lot of people don't remember, like in like the 60s, when he first got his black suit, it didn't come from like Earth. He went out into outer space. He got his sentient suit, which eventually is going to become Venom. And I'm really liking this idea of like, I think we're going to have a big throwback to the golden age of Marvel, and we're going to recreate those stories. So it's going to be something that we all know, but a lot of people probably aren't familiar with. So there's going to be a really good quality, and there's going to be a really good storyline, and we're going to enter the next phase of a darker, more adult Spider-Man, and then that's going to kind of open the window for these multiverses and other things. And I think we're going to see a lot of throwbacks to stuff that our parents were reading when they were our age.
I do feel like if you could sum up the review for this last Spider-Man, it's like Tom Holland is a man. And like that's kind of where, it's like now he's on to his own new adventures together.
And like what a plot twist that the third movie is his origin story.
Yep,
like
absolutely.
That's just so like now we're going to get this new phase.
What a great look. All right, Isaiah, let's bring you in here next. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I think definitely we're getting the black suit. But I think the next obvious thing is it's got to be Spider-Man versus Venom. We've been waiting on this. I know concept art from the guy who did concept art on this last movie. He kind of leaked like, this is what he would look like for me. later on. I think that's exactly where we're going. We all want to see Spider-Man finally take out Venom, and I just want to see Venom get the stupid spider. Can we please just get it right, Marvel? So I really want to see that. This movie for me, it was the greatest movie I have ever seen. I loved Endgame, Winter Soldier is really up there for me. But this movie with all three Spider-Man being in it, it was just perfect. It was absolutely perfect. So I definitely want to see Black Suit. Got to have Venom next. And I think Ned is still going to end up being Hobgoblin now.
Okay. All right. Shaun, what do you think?
I think I can't wait to see Stalker is life become Venom, and then fight Spider-Man. I think that'll be great.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I was so happy that he was on the show. Point for watching Ted Lasso.
So first off, I'd like to correct how Spider-Man got the black suit in the comic. It was actually John Jameson, J. Jonah's son, who was an astronaut, picked it up in space, brought it back, and it's subsequently.
I love this. Okay, hold on, Shaun. I got to let her defend herself. Sarah, back in.
There's different versions and different origin stories. And in one of the old Infinity War stories, he went up with the Avengers and helped fight a space war, and the suit was given to him as a gift. Then later in the 90s, we had a reboot. Once again, I'm talking about the comics that our parents read, and I should know because I read that exact comment from my dad when I was 8, when he owned his own comic book shop, because that's what I grew up in, a fucking comic book shop.
So, Shaun, you have about 20 seconds left over being eviscerated by Sarah. Go ahead.
That's okay. Anyway, so love it. Spider-Man also, for me, was one of the best ones ever. I think you can have issues with the movie if you think about it too much, because there were some things that didn't really make sense. I'm still not totally sure why Electro ended up there, why the Mary Janes didn't get pulled in. So whatever.
They needed a black guy, bro. You got to have a black guy.
I guess, yeah, I know. Then why not just bring in Miles, man? I mean,
yeah, we all were rooting for Miles.
I think that makes more sense, Miles, aside from Electro. Anyway, great show. Sometimes when you put in too many villains, it can really fall apart, but they did it so good, and everything about it was awesome. The fact that they made every Spider-Man canon now is great. Of course, they're going to have a Garfield movie now because you have Marvel backing you, and you have their writers who are telling you what to do and where to go with this. I think it would be silly of them not to do a Garfield one, especially as much as everyone has pined over him and the memes and all of a sudden
Venom in his world, right?
That'd be great, man. Yeah, and all of a sudden, Amazing Spider-Man is showing up on the top watch list, which is crazy because nobody cared about that movie when it came out, or both of them. They both kind of were yeah. But yeah, man, I'm super stoked. I think it's great moving forward. We're gonna have all kinds of awesome shit from Marvel and DC now because they're doing their multiverse stuff. So it just opens up the doors for 50 Spider-Man. We can have a Ghost Rider Spider-Man cross. You can just do so much with what Marvel now has opened the door for.
We've heard all the time about how Tobey Maguire didn't ever want to come back as Spider-Man, and for about the first 55% of his screen time, he's just wearing a t-shirt and jeans. It's can you just put the suit on for a little bit, Toby? Come on, man. Eric, what do you think of the movie? What do you think, and what do you think going forward? What we got going on?
First of all, I've got to back up Sarah. Secret Wars #7 came out in the 80s. On the cover, here comes a black suit. What you were talking about is from the Spider-Man cartoon where he did get the suit from Jonah. So let's just put the facts on the table here.
I have that original Infinity Wars on my wall. It was a Christmas gift.
Real quick. Can we get some? Can we make sure we get some sunblock for that burn? Thank you.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What about the cloth suit? No one's talked about the original suit too. He had a black cloth suit as well.
I don't remember that one.
Eric, first time the black suit appears is Secret Wars #7. As someone who's as old as Sarah's parents, I grew up in the 80s. Absolutely, that's when it happened. I bought that issue off the rack. How great was the movie? How great was all three Spider-Man in the lab, talking science, figuring stuff out? Those are the kind of scenes I like. I thought it aped the memes a little bit, the Spidey pointing meme a little bit, but I left the movie feeling great. I thought it was awesome. Copying from Into the Spider-Verse is the best thing they could have done, and I think that's the direction they're going to go forward with, Andy.
Yeah, lots of vampire stuff happening here too in the MCU. With the Spider-Verse and the comics. Maybe that's going to play into.
Spider-Verse was this soft opening into will our audience accept this? We can make an animated version and see if people love it. It became the massive hit that it was, and then I feel like Marvel was yeah, let's go all in with this live action now because they're so similar in ways, but they're very much their own thing. But to me, it felt like that was testing the waters of whether or not audiences could deal with the fact that you have crazy multiverses and multiple characters.
It would be super dope too, now that we're dealing with variants, to pull in Gwen Stacy from that universe. From
Emma Watson as
Not Emma Watson, though, because remember the girl who plays Hawkeye in Hawkeye, she voices Gwen Stacy in Spider-Verse. So what if she comes out of the Spider-Verse universe and she is Andrew's new Gwen as Spider-Gwen or Spider-Woman?
Just a variant version. Yeah.
I just want them to bring back Jessica Jones now that we can recognize the Netflix.
Let's do that, please.
She's probably one of the most underrated Netflix.
Absolutely.
Shows.
Now, I want to say this, though. I actually had a problem with what they did with Daredevil because, and this is about the only problem I had with the movie because I love Daredevil. I'm so glad that he's now a part of it. But it was just very much, hey, here's Daredevil, haha, and then he's gone for the rest of the movie. I felt like it wasn't necessary to do it right now.
I actually have a thing about that because I had just never gotten to Hawkeye. I've just been really busy. I think that they do stuff like that for people who don't keep up with the Disney Plus. Like when I saw that, I saw some producer from Disney in the back, like, we have to make sure that we leak the seeds so we can make more money later. So I bet you that was probably like a studio choice for people who don't keep up with every single little thing.
Totally. Okay. You know what? I'll allow that.
Capitalism.
That sounds like
that
actually makes sense to me. All right. Anybody got a last word for me? All right, cool. So after one question, we're looking at Sarah with 6 points. I'm feeling really generous, but she really, really crushed on that round. Shaun, you only got 2 points. Eric with 4, Isaiah with 3 after one question. All right, let's get to our second question. And it kind of is all similar, right? We're talking about movies now in 2022. 2021 is behind us now. Let's move forward. What movie this year are you most looking forward to? And Shaun, we're going to start with you on this one. Tell us why it's Morbius.
Man, I am excited about Morbius, but the fact that they pushed it back, I don't know how to feel about that. Maybe it's good.
It's now on April 1st.
Yeah, and maybe they didn't want it to compete with like this stuff that's in theaters now. I'm not sure. So I am excited about it, but it's not my top. My top this year is probably just because I'm such a little kid still. Jurassic Park Dominion. I haven't necessarily super loved the first two, but the fact now that we're kind of getting like this dinosaurs attack story like in the cities and stuff, I am all in for that. I think that's great.
I would yes. They're basically doing the second Jurassic Park in a modern, correct way for us.
Totally.
Guys, they cloned people. Come on, man. Come on. No, I can't. I just can't. You've ruined Jurassic Park. It's about the dinosaurs. I just want dinosaurs.
So what movie are you looking forward to this year?
Man, it's got to be Across the Spider-Verse. Absolutely Across the Spider-Verse. We get Miguel in a Spider-Man movie. Like, it's going to be hands down. I think it's going to take all of the awards again. Morbius, all of those other ones, they're going to be great. But I'm telling you, Across the Spider-Verse, people are chomping at the bit at that movie already. And it was only a small teaser.
Well, this
Jurassic
whole year
Park
is crazy, man. Like
it is.
That's this is for me, and I know not everybody that's their favorite. I mean, we got like Top Gun. Like 13-year-old me would be like, "Holy shit, this year, man!" We got Top Gun coming back. The Batman, which I think looks great. I am all in on the new Batman. I love Robert Pattinson. I think he's been great. Everything I've seen him in. I didn't necessarily love the second Halloween, but watching finally Michael Myers and Jamie Lee Curtis showdown in Halloween Ends. We get the next Aquaman. We get the Multiverse of Madness. We get Black Panther. Everything is coming out. It's like we went from 2020 where there was like nothing, and then we slowly opened the doors to 2021, and now there's everything to watch. So, man, I'm just super stoked about this year, period, because I get to go back to theaters, which is great for me. I get to watch all these awesome things that little kid me loves. So, this year just in general is fucking awesome.
All right, Sarah, what do you think? What do you got for your movie you're looking forward to this year?
I was pretty torn with Thor: Love and Thunder just because I'm really excited for Lady Thor. Because
I can't believe nobody said that yet. I totally agree.
Here we go. This is my G-spot moment. Just a fun fact. Remember, Ant-Man and Wasp was number 15 to 18 on that list, and it was the first movie that had a woman's name in the title. And the Civil War was the first time a Black woman had a speaking line that was longer than like a minute. So there has been a lot of low representation. So I'm really excited, not just of like having someone there, but like having like just this returning person to take on this power. I think that'll perform great. But I digress. Point is, my favorite one actually is going to be Black Adam. And here's why. So Captain Marvel, because I'm going to call him by his name before everybody, pop culture changed it, is one of my favorite DC characters. I am a big DC person. back when I was like in middle school or early high school, when The Rock was like just leaving wrestling and he was like hitting his peak, like I'm an actor now. He actually, there was talks about doing a Captain Marvel movie like Shazam, like back then. There's always been talks, and so he actually posted on his website to his fans a poll and said, "I want to be in this movie. Who would you rather see me play, Black Adam or Captain Marvel?" Billy Batson. Anyway, and everybody voted for Black Adam, and so he chose that he was going to be a villain, and that was actually a big deal because he was like peak like good guy thing, and nobody had ever really heard it before. So I'm finally excited because 13-year-old Sarah has been waiting to see Black Adam, and now I'm 32, and it's about time. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Eric, let's see some passion for Black Adam. Like, you get excited for that one?
I do. I'm stoked about everything you guys have mentioned. It was very hard for me not to pick The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent with Nicolas Cage for this choice, where Nick Cage plays himself. However, there was a movie that was supposed to come out last year that we're getting next month. Young Eric, skateboarding Eric, really just wants to hear the words, "Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville, and welcome to Jackass."
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Were you jumping out of the back of cars like after school and stuff like you know?
Only movie that's made me vomit ever.
Oh, the sweat part. That's the one. That's
I'm
the
surprised.
one in
Cocktail.
my head forever.
This is
My
the kind
God.
of movie year that we're talking about, though, right now, right? Like, not one of you guys mentioned Avatar 2. And
No.
I don't know, you guys not excited for that?
Pocahontas in space is not impressive.
It
Okay.
is definitely
I love
Pocahontas in
James
space.
Pocahontas is
So
Yeah.
I'll
For
be
sure.
I'll be over here in the future with James Cameron, and when you guys catch up, we'll be talking about how it's the most successful
Batman.
box office movie.
How about
That-
Sonic
that
2,
man.
though? Sonic 2 is going to be dope.
Who was excited about the first one? That was kind of like a word of mouth movie, right? Everybody saw it,
Yep.
like, it's incredible. 3D's awesome and everything. So I think it's going to be one of those things when I finally get to the theater and I see it, I'll be like, this is just as amazing as the first one. Long live
People
James
are going to
Cameron.
hate watch it, and they're going to secretly like it, and then they're going to tell their friends
It's
to go
not
see
good.
it.
It's not a good movie. The plot is really typical and
first
very
one
boring.
was
Like,
terrible.
But, it's eye candy.
It's
fun.
pretty.
It's just cool. It's
yeah, but so
pretty.
is
There's
Speed
shit popping
Racer.
in your
Like, I
face
mean,
and-
like,
I love Speed Racer. Thank you.
I do love Speed
totally
Racer.
agree.
I love Speed Racer. I just watched that High on Mushrooms the other day. It was amazing.
that makes
All right, well, that's the end of round one. Let's see. Let's check the scoring, the arbitrary scoring at the end of round one. Eric, you have 7. Isaiah, you have 7. Sarah, you have 10. Shaun, you have 6. You are the low man this episode. You are on your way out. Now, please hang around. I have a tendency to break the rules and potentially bring people back in. But for now, say goodbye.
Adios, muchachos.
All right, let's get in here to
Let's
round
go.
2.
Let's go.
All right, round 2 here. Let's talk about our next 2 things. So we talked about movies. 2022, big year for movies. But I would argue that 2022 is just as big of a year for TV shows too, right? We've got things coming up like a bunch of Marvel and Star Wars shows, including like Obi-Wan and She-Hulk. But we're going to also have shows from Amazon like Lord of the Rings, new seasons of like really peak television shows like Better Call Saul and Atlanta. So what do you guys think is your pick this year for the most anticipated television show? Eric, I'd like to start with you.
It's hard not to go with Obi-Wan Kenobi because I'd love to see Ewan McGregor back in the role. But I think Paramount has done a great job with the Star Trek franchise. Star Trek Strange New Worlds has so much potential. It looks like they're going back to the 60s aesthetic of the show and the feel-good Star Trek. Star Trek always brought the smart, but I thought back in the 60s, the original series also brought a little bit of the love. So I cannot wait to see what they do with that.
Okay. All right, Sarah, what do you think for your most anticipated show this year?
Well, obviously, I'm excited for the new TV app by Project Nerd and all of the new television shows that are going to be airing on that show. But if I was going to go ahead and pick something that wasn't that, I'm probably mostly going to be excited for. I'm nervous, but I'm excited for She-Hulk. I want to see. I have a lot of feelings about powerhouse women and Hollywood beautifying them to a standard so it's appealing for other people. But I'm really excited because this character there's not a lot of ways you could sexualize her. She is what she is. She's got a lot of the character itself, and so I just kind of want to go ahead and see what they're going to do with that. And then besides that, probably Peacekeeper.
The actress Peacemaker, which starts actually Thursday, I believe, of this week.
The 13th.
This week, yep. So did you see the Disney like intro for their year? They did give a quick little look at She-Hulk, not like a real actual glimpse, but I thought I'm excited for this one. I think it looks like it's going to be really good, and that actress is awesome.
Mm-hmm. No, and it's good. And I think we need to just get some more women on the screen, their story, even if she's an adaptation of a male character. The She-Hulk, and I remember watching that cartoon in the '90s and really loving that character. So,
and we're getting two female-led shows this year too, because also Miss Marvel will be coming from Disney as well too, which will be super exciting. So, Isaiah, what do you think about for television this year?
You actually just hit the nail on the head. I'm really excited for Miss Marvel. It's kind of a tie for me, Miss Marvel and actually Dexter, for kind of the same reasons. I want to see how both these shows redeem characters. I think with the Avengers game, Miss Marvel's name has kind of taken a downside a little bit. A lot of people are like, we don't care. We just want to play with the stock Avengers. So I'm interested to see how that show kind of redeems her and gets her ready to go into the Marvels. And kind of the same thing with Dexter. I haven't watched it yet. I know it just had the finale, but this is another show where it's got to redeem really two really bad seasons. So I'm excited to see what happens in both of those.
All right. We do have a lot of good television coming this year. And you know, there's a lot of risks that are being taken. I think for me, I would definitely say Lord of the Rings is what I'm most excited for, but only because, you know, I was so obsessed with the original trilogy when it came out. We did the whole Trilogy Tuesday thing where you watched them all and fell asleep halfway through because you stayed up all night the night before. But like this is a big part of my growing up with movies. And so now that it's going to be in a TV medium, I think is super exciting. And I think we can get a lot more to it, right? Like longer seasons, and more hours within that world. So I'm looking forward to that.
Do we know is Carl Urban coming back for that?
I think it's all new. It's going to be everything new.
Sounds like crap.
Way out.
I just hope they get graphically. If they can do it graphically with a really good budget, which it looks like it does, I think Lord of the Rings is going to be just fine. But I think until we see some solid footage of it, it's just a little like, please don't screw this up. We love this. Please don't mess it up.
Yeah, there's a tinge of that, especially too because Amazon just put out that Wheel of Time show, which according to from what I've been hearing, and I tried to watch it, and the best review I could give it is just okay. But I tried to watch it, and it just wasn't good enough. It just wasn't quite there for me. So yeah, I'm a little nervous, but still looking forward to it. Now we're going to talk next about video games, and you know, we all know that our resident video game expert here today is Sarah. So we're going to probably lead with her. So while video games do have more movable release dates than other media, we still have a good idea of a few titles releasing this calendar year so far. Do you think that Horizon Forbidden West can take it, being game of the year, even though it launches in February? Or are we looking at releases like Starfield from the creators of the Elder Scrolls series, Elden Ring, Breath of the Wild 2, which is the new Zelda game for Switch, or the new God of War? You know, there's a lot of good stuff coming out this year. So, Sarah, what do you think is going to be the best?
Yeah, you know, I just discovered this really good game called Frogger. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but I don't play fucking video games at all. There's many nerds and many colors, but I do have one. So,
what are you playing right now?
What am I?
What game are you playing right now?
Oh, my one game that I'm playing, Pokemon Snap.
So you are a gamer.
Okay, but here's my one thing. There's a story. I'll do as quick as I can. I'll talk fast. So basically, the reason why I think I'm like this is because I grew up in a house where video games weren't for kids. My dad was an adult nerd, and back then, video game systems were super expensive. So like, I never got to play the games because I never really was allowed to touch them. And if he would let me play them, he never bought games that I wanted to play. Like, he wouldn't buy Nintendo. There was no Nintendo in our house because that was quote for kids. And like, what 5-year-old girl's like, woohoo, Tomb Raider? You know what I mean? So I always got the leftover games. So when PlayStation came out, I was finally allowed to touch the Sega. However, the only Sega game that would mildly keep my interest as a child was Sonic the Hedgehog. So I played that game probably over and over and over again. And one thing I swore after that trauma of abuse as a child was, if I ever have video games in my house, my kids are going to be allowed to play. And I don't think it's cute to like, babe, you want to come watch me play games? I'm like, no, why would I want to watch you have fun? Give me the fucking remote. So basically what I said was, in my house, video games will be for everybody, no matter what your age. And because of the new movies that are coming out, now my 8-year-old is finally having some interest in Sonic. So I think Sonic Project Frontiers is actually something that I'm going to go ahead and get because it's going to be the first real experience I can have with my kids playing together. And then I can shake my fist to the heavens, but then pick up my phone and shake it at my dad because he's not dead yet and be like, now in my house it's equal. Ugh.
Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and give you extra points for childhood video game trauma because, look, that's an unfortunate thing, right? And it does shape your view of video games in your life now. So,
do you have any idea what it's like if your dad bought all of the systems in the 90s so you could shoot guns at the TV screen like the arcade and it works? And he goes, don't touch this. This is expensive. And you have to just sit there and watch him have fun. Could you imagine?
That's ridiculous.
I cannot actually.
It is ridiculous.
I feel sorry. We are so sorry that happened to you. Like whatever we can do to help you going forward.
I've had a hard life as a white
hard life.
woman. We all need to recognize that.
All right, Eric. What do you think is the most exciting game coming out this year?
God, Sarah, I'm so sorry. I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that I make gaming good for you and good for your family. So if you ever have questions, you just let me know, please, because I grew up in the opposite household where my dad wanted to game with me and wanted me to play with the toys. So that just really broke my heart. But to get to the question, hard for me not to pick From Software's Elden Ring. You want to talk about a company that's hit every single game they've ever released out of the park. But my favorite horror movie is getting a game this year. Bruce Campbell is voicing Ash. How can you not pick Evil Dead, the game? It looks so good. It's going to have a multiplayer aspect to it. There's been Evil Dead games in the past, and they've been all right. They've been passable. This one looks like it's going to take it to the next step. So for me, that's my most anticipated title.
All right. Isaiah, what do you think is your hottest title this year?
The only reason I don't agree with you is I'm bitter that he wasn't in Mortal Kombat 11. For me, I've got to go with Athena. I've got to go with God of War, man. As much as Horizon Forbidden West is going to be amazing, God of War just does it every single time. I know the question is really about it launching so early. The original God of War, believe it or not, came out in March as well. And I think God of War, when it comes out, I think it's going to just kind of move a lot of titles around when they announce a date, because the game just has that gravitas that we're going to fight Thor probably in the opening of that game. It's just going to be intense.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. The last one was really good. It's going to be one of those years where we're all going to be talking about how awesome all these other games are, and then Breath of the Wild 2 comes out and just blows us all away, I'm sure. Like Zelda typically does when they come out with these main feature titles. So.
It's that Nintendo magic, man. They've got it.
Yeah, the Nintendo magic, they do have it. All right, well, again, lots of great games coming out. We are looking forward to it. Now, let's count the scores here. So, Sarah, you've got 15 after these rounds. Eric, you are at 12. Isaiah, you are at 13. So that means, Eric, you have been eliminated from the second round today. We appreciate you being here. Thank you for, just being so passionate about what you love. And we're glad that you're here with us. And stick around.
He's the homie. You're the homie. You had my back.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. We'll see you later there, my friend. All right. Let's get him out of here. And let's go ahead and move into our round 3. All right, so our final question of the day, and it'll be a quick one, I'm sure. Sarah is also not. I have 2 people here that aren't huge Fast and the Furious fans, but that's fine. I am, and I'm asking the questions. Yet another franchise this week was pitched as a crossover with Fast and the Furious, and that's because all the Scream team is out doing all their publicity, and they said that they want to do a Scream crossover with Fast and the Furious. And if Dom is not helping them outrun Ghostface in the future, I don't know what I want anymore. What's the best crossover that you could possibly think of to add into the Fast and Furious franchise? Isaiah, let's start with you.
I love the Fast and Furious franchise. I really do. Think about this. The Rock is feuding with Vin Diesel already, right? So why not cross over Fast and Furious with the WWE? Let's have an all-out live-action brawl. What's bigger than the last Fast and Furious? Fast and Furious live on your TV. Saturday night, Thursday night SmackDown. The Rock, Vin Diesel. There's lots of oil. I'm just down for this, man. I think it would be so great. My wife was like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, you said The Rock and oil. I'm interested too.
I think that would be so great, man. Just force The Rock to get back with Vin Diesel, even though he keeps like dragging Vin Diesel through the mud.
Through the mud every day that he gets.
Every day he can, So I definitely would love to see those two go at it in the squared circle.
All right, Sarah, what do you think would be the best crossover?
All right. So F and F and F. Fast and Furious and Futurama. And then it's like basically we got a delivery boy from the past. He wakes up. Where am I? Everybody's using these fast race cars in this race world, and like there's robot people. And now he's got to deliver stuff. And there's a gargoyle named Zuzu. And I just like have this like imagination of like these like futuristic escapades with like fast and moving cars. And there's gonna be like the love of person, but she's got one eye. And I just think there's a lot of really cool things that you could combine with the two of them. And then the bonus is if you decide to still make it animated, Billy West could probably provide half the cast, and that's just economics.
So at the end of Fast 10, they're gonna roll into some warehouse and there's gonna be like random tubes there. Like we should all get into these tubes,
freezing.
guys.
Yes,
What's going on? And then they get in there and then they wake up another 30 years,
like
50 years in the future.
Could you imagine like the car going into the tubes and just like traveling over New York City and things like that? That would be so
Vin
cool.
Diesel's white t-shirt has to still be like pristine, like
perfect.
It's always perfect, no matter what.
Isaiah,
I know we're gonna have Bender.
Isaiah, I probably would have given you the win if you had compared it to what I thought you were going to go with, because it would have a better idea in my head, which was Jumanji. Because I love a Fast and Furious Jumanji crossover where they're out they have basically get sucked into the game and visit. This is not a game. This is family. And that's
like your idea was good, but my idea is better. So
well, that's the perks of being a host, of my being honest. So Sarah is going to be our winner today. So everyone, congratulations.
Super Smash Club.
Sarah, you are going to be getting you're going to get your champion banner here. You're going to get 30 seconds to talk about anything that you'd like to. So let me remove all of us and do your little intro here, please.
Thank you so much, everybody. I had a really good time. Please go ahead and follow G-Spot. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. Do not type that into Google. You will not find us. Please go on to Project Nerd and find us that way. The G-Spot, not G-Spot. And unlike the other G-Spot, we are very easy to find. Thank you.
Oh, that was fantastic, actually. Very good stuff. Let's bring everybody back in to wave goodbye today. Thank you guys again for all being here. Check out Project Nerd. Project Nerd TV is coming soon, you guys. We're going to be all over. Just keep an eye out. Thank you for being here. Have a good night.